Oh my god, do I have a story for you today, ladies and gentlemen. This one was told to me by an old friend of mine back when I went to another university a couple years ago, and when he told me, my jaw just dropped. So if you want to have your jaw dropped too, make sure to stick to the end of this video. Also make sure to subscribe if you are brand new on this channel, and without further ado, let's get right into the story, ladies and gentlemen. So this story takes place when my old friend, let's call him Robin for privacy purposes, was having some trouble with his parents not being home that often anymore. So his parents were pretty successful and their company was growing and growing, and they even grow so much that they got their own office building even. So they really started to make a good salary, they really got more customers and more growth in general. The parents, they asked their parents, so Robin's grandparents, to take care of him, you know, when they were not at home, when they were working. His grandparents did it proudly. So his grandpa took over when grandma got trouble walking because she ended up in a nursing home, and unfortunately she died soon after. And after a couple of months though, his grandpa was troubled with Alzheimer's and he started living at a nursing home too. So Robin still stayed at home when his parents were working, and as he was still a minor, he was like 14 years old at the time, his mom thought it would be a great idea to order a nanny instead. At least that is what Robin thought at first, and he wasn't really interested per se, because he thought that, you know, the nanny was gonna be pretty old, she was probably gonna be as old as his grandparents, but he was really indifferent and didn't really seem to care because he got used to having his grandparents as babysitters. However, his actual babysitter was going to be a lot younger. So him being a teenager in the middle of puberty, he was kind of happy to see that the babysitter he was gonna get was actually a girl in her early 20s, and her name was Hannah. So his parents were getting busier and busier, they had to manage more and more things in their company, and they already had more than 100 people working for them even. So Robin, the guy of the story, had to stay home for longer periods of time, however, and already used to not seeing his parents that often, he still didn't mind. So he was really introverted and he didn't mind having almost no social life. I mean, his friend circle was really small, they were pretty nerdy, pretty geeky, and they enjoyed playing video games together a lot. And he mainly worked on his homework at home, and in his spare time he was just playing video games with his friends. So Hannah, his new babysitter, was a pretty hard worker. So she cooked for him, she helped him with his homework, and she even did a lot of chores in the house, like cleaning for example. And she came from a pretty religious and conservative household. Her family always went to church on the Sundays, so her image was, you know, she was really intelligent, really smart, innocent, would never do anything bad, and she was raised really well. That is the impression that Robin's parents had of her, so that was also the reason why they chose her to hire as a babysitter. And also, she went to university herself, so she could always help Robin with his homework, looking at the fact that she was pretty intelligent. So fast forward a little bit, she was already quote-unquote babysitting Robin for 2 weeks. I say this in quotes because Robin is obviously not a baby anymore, he is 14 years old. Still a minor though, but definitely not a baby. Anyways, as time moves on, Robin starts to kind of taking a liking to Hannah. You know how it is, the hormones are flooding and he's getting a slight crush on her. Nothing too serious obviously, because it would be wrong that he's a minor and she's way older than him. And 2, he is very introverted, so he would never really try to flirt with her anyways. So instead he was always really nice to her and he just appreciated her giving him attention, because he never really had any female friends before, so he thought it was very nice to be close to a girl. girl. So his friends were also getting more and more jealous when he boasted about Hannah. So one day when he went to bed and she was going home too, just before she left the house, and he was already laying in bed for like an hour or so, but he just couldn't sleep for some reason. He could still hear her obviously, and he noticed that she was talking on the phone with someone. So he got a bit jealous at that point, because what if it's actually her boyfriend she's talking to? That's why he became a bit jealous, because obviously he has a slight crush on her. However, Robin thought that she could never have a boyfriend because she has super conservative parents and they would probably not like that. But maybe it's just a friend from church. Maybe it's just another one of her female friends calling her. So anyways, the curious Andy he is, he got up from bed and started to kind of listening in on the phone call she was having, and little that he knew, he could catch a glimpse of the phone call. So she invited someone on the phone, and he was thinking, who could that be? At this point, he really started to get tired, but he decided to grab his phone and play some games on it, because he was pretty much almost a 100% certain that she invited someone to the house. So he didn't possibly want to miss this, because he was so tired that if he would go to bed, he would instantly fall asleep and miss it. And he just didn't want to miss it. So what do you know? 30 minutes later, he could hear a car stopping in front of the house, and when the car stopped, he quickly ran up to the bathroom window because it was looking out on the front porch of the house perfectly. So the car door opens and a guy comes out. Before I continue with the story, make sure to comment "freaky babysitter" in the comments down below if you want to farm some hearts, and I'm also curious how many of you are still watching after a while. Anyways, let's continue. So he couldn't believe his eyes. He was really wondering if it could really be her boyfriend. I mean, at that point, he thought that it could be still her brother picking her up with his car to drive themselves back home. However, after a while, he could hear some whispers downstairs. He could hear her laughing pretty hard accidentally, and then she was saying things like, "Oh shit, we have to be careful not to wake him up." So he couldn't believe what he was hearing, and truth to be told, it kind of broke his heart a little bit because he was kind of fond of her. Now here comes the juicy part of this story. While he was contemplating what he should do with this situation, as Hannah and her boyfriend were not really making a move to go home, so that was kind of suspicious, he thought. After another while, the conversation and laughing has ended. They weren't in the hallway of the house anymore. Instead, they went to the living room and the door was closed. And him being the curious teenager that he is, he started to sneak downstairs because he was really wondering where they could be, because he was also so afraid that the boyfriend was trying to steal something or plot something evil in the house. So he decided to snoop around and take a look. So when he took a peek in the living room, they were actually going at it on the couch, ladies and gentlemen. He could hear everything, and man, he was really shocked to hear it. However, unfortunately, the door of the living room squeaked a bit when he opened it to take a peek at what was actually happening, and Hannah and her boyfriend noticed that too and quickly got up from the couch. Robin at that point was sprinting for his dear life back upstairs because he was so afraid that he would get caught snooping around, but at that point there was no point anymore in doing that because they were literally the only 3 people in the whole house at that point. Hannah quickly ran up the stairs after him and he just totally froze up. He was totally caught. He didn't want to run anymore. And she came upstairs and quickly called him, obviously very startled and anxious too, because she was very afraid that she would lose her job. So she came up to him and told him, "Look, I know that it didn't look good, But promise me you will not tell your mom about what happened here. I really don't want to lose my job and I'm so embarrassed. Please do not tell your parents and let's just keep this a secret between us, okay? And yeah, basically that is exactly what happened. Robin agreed not to tell his mom because he really liked Hannah, and even though she had a boyfriend, after that he never came back to the house. He told me that the boyfriend was probably so embarrassed to go back to the house, so he naturally avoided. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed, ladies and gentlemen. If you did, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss another upload. Let me know what you thought of this story in the comments down below, and I will catch you guys in another one of my videos. Peace out and have a great day.